KNTK.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You good?
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. Rico, what's up?
Hello.
I got caught off guard because I saw John and Cortland's text. I pulled up the text and I just see, or the text line, excuse me. And I saw John and Cortland saying Frost in the box. And I thought that was pretty funny. That got me to giggle right before the show started.
Has a head, well, aside from whoever, I don't remember who it was, coach that was sick or like just had surgery and was in the box a couple years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a head coach up in the press box?
Ooh, I don't know. I doubt it. There's no way.
I don't think so.
There's no way. You just can't do that.
You could.
You could, but you don't want to.
Why?
Well, because you want your head coach present down on the field.
What if he's calling plays?
Nah, man. I'm sorry.
What if he's calling plays? Your offensive coordinator is
talk about from an
offense. Your defense coordinator is taking care of the defense.
You talk about from an administrative role and maybe personnel decisions.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, come on. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Both those open for you guys the entire show. Got plenty of stuff to get to. Steve Mark will not be joining us today. He had some stuff. Yeah, he hates us. He had some stuff come up, and so he is not able to join us at 1:30. He'll probably stop by sometime later in the week. Plenty of other things to talk about. A lot of people are saying Joe Paterno sat in the box when he was a head coach for Penn State. So
was it because of sickness? Or
his last couple years, I thought it was.
See, but I'm not talking about sickness related, injury related, because that, of course.
Yeah, because like Jerry Kill sat in the box.
That's
the Minnesota coach, who's now Jerry Kill is somewhere else. He is back.
He was the interim at TCU.
Yeah, I don't think so. He is the head coach at New Mexico State. I actually had to look that up a couple weeks ago for something on our.
Yeah. New Mexico State.
Oh, I think it was on the drive with AD and Raph. We looked up Jerry Kill.
The Aggies.
Yeah. Jerry Kill. So, which if you look back at Jerry Kill's time as the Minnesota head coach, or just his head coaching record overall. Now, obviously, he landed in like Saginaw Valley State and Emporia State. It says.
Look at him.
But he has a couple wins, in bowl games with Minnesota. When you look at like Minnesota, it definitely helps. So like when in Minnesota. He was a 500 coach for the Golden Gophers from 2011 to 2015, and
he built that program.
He went to 3 bowl games.
You are welcome.
He went to 3 bowl games, so you're welcome, PJ Fleck, for Jerry Kill.
Golden Gopher fans.
Yeah, because then it was Jerry Kill, then it was Tracy Claeys for a little bit, and then I believe it went straight to PJ Fleck.
Yep. Out of Western Michigan.
Which, no idea where Corey Davis came from, Western Michigan.
First-round pick.
That's right. Where's he at nowadays? Do we know?
I think he's with the Jets.
Okay. I was going to say, because he's not with the Titans anymore.
No, I believe he's with the Jets. I could be completely wrong.
Oh, do you know? Okay, so Tracy Claeys, do you know where? So he's not coaching anymore. He got out of coaching in 2020.
Okay.
Do you have any clue where he was in 2020? He was
not coaching.
He was a linebacker coach.
Oh, yes, coaching. Tracy Claeys.
Think ACC.
I was going to say professional college. ACC, let's go with ACC, Boston College, Wake Forest.
Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. He was the linebackers coach in 2020.
I guessed with the way you were smiling.
Yeah, he was a linebackers coach at Virginia Tech in 2020. And that was it. But yeah, I mean, like if you look back, Tracy Claeys was Jerry Kill's assistant for 21 years through Saginaw Valley State, Emporia State, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale,
Emporia State, I know that.
Northern Illinois University, and then Minnesota. So,
Emporia State, great track.
yeah, in January 2021, Clays announced his retirement. That's too bad, Tracy. That's a shame. Once again, as always, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys today. Want to hear your guys' thoughts all show long, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. It is a Monday, so you know what that means. It means Pest of the Weekend. Hit the music, Rico.
Somebody turn the program off.
Yeah. Hit the music, Rico.
You're a pest. Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Nick and Rico's Pest of the Weekend on Happy Hour, brought to you by Bats to Rats.
Insubordinate and churlish.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Call Dane at Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention for all your pest needs. 402-310-0904. Or head online to batstoRats.com. Once again, batstoRats.com, 402-310-0904. Rico, would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first?
I can go first.
All right, go ahead.
Mine isn't as important as yours is.
Okay. I'm glad you think mine's important.
It's not. Stickers. Not like stickers like, hey, little playful little kids. No, I mean stickers like the
spiky things.
Thorny things in the grass.
Yep.
So, we're going to volleyball, which I will talk about later.
Yes, we will.
First to the fan day, then to the red-white scrimmage. And Ellie's got her little pink shoes on, which, shout out to Ellie. She was a superstar for a day.
Yep.
And I've got my new Jordans on, and we're walking through, and Ellie goes to get in the car, and she, like, freaks out for a second. I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, something's in my shoe. And I take her shoe off. I was like, there's nothing in your shoe. And I go to put it back on, and she says it again. So I look, the bottom of her shoe is just covered.
Where was she walking?
We were walking, just walking.
Couldn't have been on the sidewalk.
Not through the grass. So where we park,
yep,
there's like a little ramp thing, this little red carpet thing that they laid down over the grass so you get down the hill. So you're not walking on the grass.
Okay.
And there, I when we went back for the scrimmage, I looked at it, just covered with them. Just stickers everywhere.
The red thing.
The red thing was
okay.
The red carpet was just covered with them. So I was like sitting there in the parking lot, just picking.
So she felt it through her. Was she wearing like flip flops or something?
They're like little plastic
sandal things.
Little sandal things.
All right.
And one of them was the one that was poking her was super long. It had like barely. There's like the littlest bit coming through.
Yeah.
But, still you could feel it. So I'm pulling like 6 or 7 out of one shoe and like 8 out of the other. And then I was like, well, if they're on her shoes, they got to be on mine. I look covered. So I was picking them out while I'm sitting in the car. We're sitting in the park
on your Jordans.
On my Jordan. Luckily, they were just on the bottom.
They were fresh Jordans. We are going to talk about that in a moment.
Got me some ones.
First
pair of Jordans.
We need to do my pest of the weekend though, and it is gas stations that shut off their pumps at night. So Saturday night, as I talked about, maybe you don't know this, I talked about this last week. Went to the boats on Saturday night. Went to the casino. And I'll walk through my futures bets because Tim actually called into early break this morning, asked for what bets I decided to choose on the sports book, and we just didn't get to it because Sip and I went off on another conversation. So we'll get to that here in a moment. But on the way back, we're driving through Gretna, and I see a Casey's, and I hit my fuel level low light came on or whatever. Ding, ding. I was like, all right, I need to get gas before Lincoln. Don't want to make it a close call, and it's 12 o'clock at night. And Casey's and all these other places are just shut off. No lights. Quick Trip was out. There was a Come and Go as well, and they were just all shut off. And I seriously, there was a moment in time, and Nathan was with me, so he can attest to this. There was a moment in time where I thought to myself, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get gas because they shut off the pumps. And I don't know if it's just a Gretna thing. I don't know if it's a smaller town thing. Maybe they even shut them off in Lincoln because most of the time I'm not out driving around. I'm not the one driving at 1:30 or 2 a.m.
They do not.
They don't shut them off.
No,
okay.
I've gotten gas at a Casey's later.
That's what I'm saying.
Earlier?
I don't think this is just a Casey's thing. I think this is an everywhere thing in some maybe smaller towns. I don't know. 402-464-5685. Let me know, because I roll up to we're driving on the road and I'm like, Nate, the lights are off. I don't think they're open. And he's like, no way. They don't close. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that the pumps are shut off. And Mr. Unlimited says QT in Gretna is open 24 hours. So what I ended up having to do is backtrack to the Highway 370 where you can get off in Gretna, not Gretna, excuse me. The Walmart's there. There's a Taco Bell there. There's a couple gas stations. It's the road. If you're heading towards Omaha, it's 370 to where you can go right onto Warner Park. So if you're going towards Omaha and you take the exit for 370, you turn left and there's those two gas stations there. You can go to Walmart, whatever. I had to backtrack to that gas station, end up getting gas because I was on. Because obviously right next to the interstate, they're going to be left on or open 24 hours like Mr. Unlimited says.
You also get food.
I did not get food.
You should have.
But I was like, is this a thing everywhere? Because luckily my light had just come on, but I had to drop one of our friends off in Gretna. So we had to go actually into Gretna.
Yeah.
And the pumps were off. So maybe I need to talk to Strick about it. He could probably, figure out a way to make them not shut off. Because Strick is just like that.
Strick's voice carries.
Yeah, Strick's voice counts. But yeah, John in Cortland says they don't even shut the pumps down in Cortland. Unnamed texter says Costco does it as well. And that's another thing is I don't know, maybe it's because of a fire hazard. We had a whole conversation on the way home. Maybe it's because the whole fire hazard thing, they don't want people starting fires.
No.
But come on, that could happen during the day just as easy.
You just leave the pumps on. People go, they pay with their
card.
Yeah,
the shop doesn't have to be open. The shop doesn't have to be open, just the convenience store part of it.
It's not like they can pump gas and leave without paying. You have to pay to get gas. So I don't know. Prepay only. But you have cameras. It's okay.
Yeah, you have cameras.
It'd be bad if there was an explosion, but
here's the thing that's tough. Kidoba guy adds,
right.
Yeah, he's got a point. It's
and
not
so did Headhunter, Pest of the Week. People who know they're driving a distance but do not plan ahead and get gas.
Well, we had stuff going on. Kidoba guy, it's not the gas station's fault that you let your gas tank get that low. You're absolutely right. But the worst part is gas stations that close at 6 p.m. on Sundays.
Gas stations close at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. on Sundays.
What gas stations are
Costco and Sam's Club. They close at 6 p.m. on Sundays. And so
I know Sam's Club doesn't open till 8 a.m. on Sundays.
Exactly. You've had this problem too. You don't leave me on an island here, Rico. I know you have a story about this.
Yeah, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Actually, my wife was upset with me because I was like, it's 10 cents cheaper. She goes, doesn't matter. Go get gas anywhere else.
No, you got to.
I was like, yeah, it's 10 cents cheaper.
If you get 20 gallons, that's $2 off.
Look at that.
I'm just saying, it pays.
Hairs.
Hey, in the long run, it pays. I'm telling you right now. So, Pest of the Weekend, gas stations that shut their pumps off at midnight. I guess maybe if it was 3:30 in the morning, maybe I understand. But then you're getting close to morning, so you shouldn't pump or shouldn't turn them off. So I don't know. OG Les Lancaster says gas stations are odd. Heck, there's still a station by my place in Lincoln that comes out and pumps gas for you. Have you ever had your gas pumped?
I have never, and that's
would you be interested?
Well, that's the thing that scared me about going to Oregon is apparently for the longest time, I don't think it is now, it was illegal to pump your own gas.
That's right.
And I was like, I would feel so uncomfortable just going somewhere and just having somebody pump my gas for me. I've always done it. I don't know. It feels so weird doing that.
Yeah.
John and Cortland, have fun at work.
Yeah, have a good one. Headhunter says Nick Gen Z proving the stereotype. Is that proving the stereotype, or is that just
I don't know what's the stereotype?
That I'm mad that gas stations are closing early, or maybe that I let gas get low?
Headhunter, what's the stereotype?
Yeah, let me know what the stereotype is. Maybe it's that I let gas get that low.
How dare you?
I think there was a part of me. Here's the thing. I think there was a part of me that was like, you know what? I'm going to wait to fill up my gas because I'm going to win money at the casino. And that way
I can put in more gas.
Just put in all the gas.
Oh,
no,
Houston,
I'm just joking.
Houston Pepper Champion. Houston, shout out to Houston. Says still illegal in Oregon, and you tip. Yeah, no, I'm not tipping you to pump my gas.
Wait, if it's something that I can, okay, actually, this could be a hot take. This could be a really hot take. If it's something that I can do, I have less of an inclination to tip.
I mean, you could make your own food at home, but I still feel like tipping.
That's a good point. But bars, for example, I cannot get back behind the counter and make a Vegas bomb.
I could try.
I could try. It would not turn. It would not turn out well.
You make a good drink, you get a tip.
Exactly.
I'm not going to tip until I taste my drink.
So
That's a lie. I tip regardless.
Yeah, come on, Rico.
That's a lie.
That made you sound really bad for about 0.6 of a second.
You worked really hard making my drink. Here's some extra money.
So okay, here's a question, Rico. Let's have this conversation. How much do you tip if you just go get a beer? I guess how often do you just go get a bottle of beer?
It's been a while, but normally like if I have cash, I'll tip like $1. Like I'll just drop it.
I always wonder.
They always have a little jar, so I just take out $1. If I'm paying in cash and they give me like
in the tip jar,
the change,
the tip jar?
whatever coins I have, drop it in there with an extra $1.
I always wonder. I want to know your guys' what we don't need to say names if you are embarrassed or if you don't want it being read on air.
But I will.
But I'm always curious because like you sit there and think, and I don't want to sound selfish or anything like that when I'm saying this.
Too late.
Is that when they grab a beer out of the cooler and pop up the top, how much do you tip?
Thank you. That's what I tip. No, I'm just kidding. I probably like it.
Like $1?
I still think I just give like $1 regardless.
But like it feels like $1's a lot. Like that sounds really bad. That sounds really bad.
I mean, they're back there working. They're not only helping you, they're helping all these other people. So I give them.
That's true. Maybe I'm just used to like the atmosphere of like a Husker football Saturday, for example.
If I get a couple drinks in, you might find yourself with a 20 then.
Okay. Yeah. So like, here's the thing. Husker.
That's not my fault. That's just me not realizing how much money I'm getting.
So let me lay out the scenario for you before we get into Husker sports, because we do have a lot to talk about. Here's the thing, Rico. Husker game Saturday. You're in the rail yard. Okay.
Never been, but sure.
You're in the rail yard. You ask them for a beer, one beer. You know you're not coming back to that person. They're just helping everybody. It's a shuffle line. They're not going to remember you. You're not going to remember them. You just want a glass of beer. Mm-hmm. You're paying $6 for a glass of beer for them to pour it.
Okay.
How much are you tipping? When you're not coming back, it's not like they're waiting on you. How much are you tipping?
If I have cash, I'll give you like $2.
Interesting.
Look, if you're working, I'm gonna tip you.
No, this is not.
That's just me. I
want to make sure. Like, I'm not trying to say don't tip. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy.
Like
No. And that's why I was very careful about how we worded this, because I usually tip pretty generously. I don't usually do the whole 15% thing, but. Okay, so like Qdoba guy says this: if it's a bottle or a can, I do $1. If it's a draft, I do $2. Ham and Bean says $1 a drink.
Yeah, if I have cash, I'll give you $1.
Maybe that's my problem is that I don't carry a ton of cash normally.
If I don't have $1, if I just have like 5s, 10s, whatever,
that's
like I'll wait till I get a couple drinks and then I'll give you like the
okay.
$5
That's understandable then. That's understandable. There's always that awkward feeling.
It's like you get the drink and you're just like thank you, and you kind of like lock eyes and you're like. Okay, bye.
Like, there's always that awkward feeling where it's like, I'm going to tip you, just not right now.
Yeah.
So please don't spit in my drink.
I have the money. I just need more drinks.
I just need drinks. So
this unnamed texter says, thoughts on tipping before you get your food. Some places ask you to tip when you order your food. Super weird to me. I've
really
never experienced that. That is weird.
I don't like that because here's another thing that I'll say.
My food is bad. What if the service is bad? What if it's really good? I want to tip you more.
So like I know that a lot of people will tip off of how often their drink gets filled. If they're drinking water, if they're drinking pop, how often they get their drink filled, I think is I know a lot of people tip based on that.
I don't even know what I tip off. It's usually I'm going out with my wife and we're just like, that was good service. Like, I don't even know what good service would be. She was a server, so she would know more.
It's all selective.
But I'm just like, yeah, it was good service, and I give you more money.
Or excuse me, subjective. Ray says this: if they're charging $6 for a beer, don't punish the server, assuming they set the price. They still paid very little, and that's exactly where my point was. Like, just I don't know. Like, I'm not saying don't tip them. I just am truly curious because when it's you go to the bar or wherever, it's like, do you tip $1? Do you tip $1.50 on one bottle of beer? Mm-hmm. It's just kind of interesting. Okay. Markel has this. This is good. Thoughts on Subway asking for tips. I had a worker ask me at the drive-through window if I wanted to tip, and I didn't know how to react. I didn't even get to see them make my sandwich.
No.
You don't like that?
I don't. It's not that I don't. I just don't tip at Subway.
Okay.
It's just awkward because they're looking at you because it's on the little pin pad when you go to pay. It says no tip. $1, whatever.
Here's how people get
and
you.
I just hit no tip.
So here's how people get you at golf courses or at places where they'll have like the new pads or whatever that you can just tap.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Big Slim, Nick sounds like a cheap ass. No, that's not what I'm saying. Cause I have I enjoy tipping. Like I like tipping. And I also understand like, they're working very hard to make my day better. So no, I'm not saying that once again, but they have the little pin pad thing.
Yeah.
And they'll hand it to you or whatever, and you'll select it. But then when it says tip, you'll notice that there's no 0 tip. So like one drink at a golf course, for example, how much do you want to tip? They have 25 at the left, 20 in the middle, and 15 on the right because your eyes go left to right.
Smart.
It's super smart. And then in the little corner,
it says other.
There's other. And you hit that little corner and it pops up and you can enter your custom amount. So I'm just helping you people out there.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. If you so
Qdoba guy, I hate that. I hate it. He says, I have an uncle who would throw the tip down on the table after they ordered, and if the waitress did something wrong, he would take $1 away so that they could see it.
That is horrible.
That is terrible.
That is sad.
Your uncle's a mean person.
Yeah. Jesse says this $1 tip is plenty for getting a beer. It takes less than a minute. That's over $60 an hour. That's interesting. Headhunter says Da Vinci's does the same thing. I'm not trying to out businesses. James adds this. Just because they're working doesn't mean you have to tip. I think common sense has to be used a lot with tipping. To literally just hand me a glass of beer, I'm not going to tip. AJ says, I always hit, quote, no tip. So, yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, how sneaky places have been, especially golf courses, because when you're out there on the 8th hole, you're not thinking about, money is kind of just, it's not even an object at that point. It's like, whatever, just take it all. When you get a couple shots and you, as some fellow golfers know, Rico, you're one of them now that you have clubs.
I wouldn't call myself a golfer yet.
Come on.
I still don't have golf balls.
You just got to go over to Play It Again Sports, get some used ones.
I just swing. I still need to get them clean. I'm swinging dirty clubs. I'm just swinging in the backyard sometimes.
This is a very valid take. I tip when I think it's good service. I'm not going to tip bad service just because you're supposed to tip.
I do.
I would tip.
Very little.
No, here's the tip. I would tip, just not as much.
Yeah.
That exactly. Yeah, I think that's it. But no, places are super sneaky now with the whole.
I feel bad because I've had bad days working. Not
exactly.
Not in that I worked in retail. I've had bad days, and sometimes you just don't want to deal with people, but you still have to work.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in that job, you have to deal with people. So I understand, if something happened and you're just, not feeling it. You're still working. You're still getting me my food. You're taking my order. You're getting me drinks. You're refilling my drink.
I also think
whether it be 1 or 2 times, whatever. Like you're still working. So I'm gonna give you some.
It is a judgment call, I think, and this is the last thing before we get to break, because we were not expecting to go down this road.
This was not supposed to
But
happen.
I think it's a judgment call when you have to understand like how many people are in the area. I think there's a judgment call of how many, especially nowadays. There's so many people. Or so many places, that are understaffed that a lot of times there will be only 2 or 3 or a few server or waitresses working, and they got the whole restaurant. And it's like, and then there's also like the whole judgment call of it's not the servers or waitresses food or problem that the food took a long time. Like you have to take all those things into account. But really, I was more curious just about the whole beer thing. That's interesting. Unnamed Texter says this. Have you guys heard this? You don't tip the business owners if they serve you. They don't make the minimum wage. Interesting. The worst is when people don't tip deliveries. Delivery fees go to the company, not the drivers. I think that's the problem with like some of the delivery companies, though, Rico, is that they charge an arm and a leg for delivery, but the person doesn't get it. So now people don't like to double tip.
So for delivery drivers, and I'll ask this last question and then we'll go to break. Should you tip in cash to the delivery driver or write the tip on the receipt?
That's a good one.
Because if I write it on the receipt, does that go to the business? Does most of it go to the business and not the driver? If I tip in cash, do they get to keep it? That's just whatever. And Headhunter, no, bad. But we need to go to a break.
We do need to go to a break. 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Let's go ahead and dive into Rico. I want to talk volleyball for a moment.
Of course.
Because you were into the red-white scrimmage and Ellie was a superstar.
She was.
And she was more popular on Twitter than you ever have been.
That is true.
I'm just kidding. Well,
No,
I mean,
she
not
is.
in a
No,
way.
she was.
And then I also want to talk about the main conversation surrounding Husker football this year has been all of the difference going on within the program, all the different coaches, the different personnel. However, over the weekend, I rewatched the Illinois-Nebraska game from last year. And I kind of want to dive in, and I thought of a couple parallels, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. So 402-464-5685. What is the same from 2021's Week 0 game against Illinois to 2022 Week 0 game against Northwestern? There's a glaring one. Want to hear your guys' thoughts. Send them in. You're listening to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket. People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
It's time to kick off the Nebraska high school football season. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert, and join me for a Thursday night matchup as the Lincoln East Spartans host the Kearney Bearcats at 7 p.m. Then Friday, join DP and myself for a doubleheader. We kick things off at 4:30 with Lincoln Southeast taking on Elkhorn South, and the nightcap featuring the Lincoln High Lynx and the Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks around 8 p.m. That's this Thursday and Friday on 93.7 The Ticket, your home for high school football.
High school football is sponsored by Southeast Community College, Members-Owned Credit Union, Union Bank and Trust, Mosaic of Southeast Nebraska, Nebraska DOT Highway Safety Office, and Gaina Trucking.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Patchy fog this morning should give way to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. We'll top out near 88 with winds out of the south-southeast at around 10. Should stay mainly clear tonight with a low of 63. And we'll bump those temps up just a bit for your Tuesday with an afternoon high of 91. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico back with you. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys, as well as the video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can always follow us on Twitter as well, Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. Okay, so I prefaced this before the break, and Rico and I kind of had a little bit of a discussion before we came back on. And we'll get to volleyball here in a moment. But I think this is interesting here, Rico. We always talk about the differences with Husker football, whether it's the coaching staff, whether it's the personnel, the players within the program, whether it's the leadership starting at top. And those are positives. I'm not trying to cloud that with this discussion. So I want to preface that with that being said. But there's one glaring parallel or similar feeling or thought going into this week 0 game. Mm-hmm. And if you look around the country at other week 0 games, you'll notice that the only other interesting game that's going on is Wyoming at Illinois. And you're going to be sitting there thinking, okay, what's so exciting about this?
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. There you go. And I guess I rewatched the Illinois game last night. And
I don't know why you would do that.
Well, I wanted to remember some things. And watched the Illinois game last night.
I don't want to forget that.
All the bad things. Special teams, Adrian Martinez fumbling, not deciding on a running back. Although throughout fall camp last year, we heard they were going to run downhill. Mm-hmm. They needed to just prove that they can win. But instead, they got punched in the face one time and they folded. One of the biggest parallels going into this week that I kind of noticed and made the realization yesterday of is that once again, for the second straight year in a row, in week 0, in the first football game of the year, all eyes are on you.
Nebraska's the centerpiece.
Nebraska's the centerpiece. Every single eyeball that wants to watch college football, and there's a lot of them, both from local, regional, and national levels, and even with you being in Ireland, possibly worldwide.
It's the first college football game of the year.
All eyes are on you on national television. And once again, we can ask the same questions that we asked last year going into Illinois. And I'm not trying to bring up why Nebraska lost that game, because I think those things are fixed with the new staff and with the new personnel. Mm-hmm. I think a bulk of them, especially the special teams. You'll remember in that game, Nebraska missed 2 PATs, and that gets overshadowed by the fumble, by them not committing to the run, things like that.
The muff, punt, safety.
Exactly. So, that gee whiz.
Yeah, forgot about that one, didn't you?
Yeah. So anyway, you forget that Nebraska missed 2 PATs in that game. And once again, all eyes are on you in week 0. And last year, I don't need to tell you guys this as Husker fans, kind of put on a poor performance.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but kind of awkward.
It was a very uncomfortable post game.
The social media, not outrage, the social media uproar of people, people make fun of Nebraska regardless, but the amount of people tweeting about how bad Nebraska looked against Illinois and their first year head coach, not a first year head coach, to head coaching, but at Illinois, Brett Bielema, it was not the greatest feeling to go on social media as a Husker fan or as somebody that wants to talk about Nebraska football, because they were getting it from every angle, from national writers to writers in the state, writers outside of the state, Big Ten writers, all of that. People were giving it to Nebraska for what a poor performance they put on. And one of the other parallels, I don't know if you even thought of, this is not for the football team or the coaches, the players, whatever. This is from the fan base. Is another parallel to that Illinois game is looking down on your opponent.
That's a good point.
Week after an entire off season of Nebraska Kool-Aid and Nebraska is doing this much better and they have this player who's going to do this and they have this player who's going to do this and they brought in all of this new talent and this is an extremely talented team and all of the hype surrounding the team, the fan base looking down on that week 0 opponent. They were looking at Illinois saying, oh, Brett Bielema, he's in his first year at Illinois. Illinois is not good. It's Illinois. Who cares? Nebraska should take care of business.
Exactly.
Pat Fitzgerald, oh, he had a bad season last year. It's Pat Fitzgerald. It's Northwestern. They're
Their
terrible.
best safety transferred out.
Nebraska should be able to take care of it. I'm not saying Nebraska's going to lose this game.
They should win.
But that is exactly what we said last year.
You're 100% right. And once again, I don't want to make this a conversation of last year, because we are fully aware and excited about all the changes. You hear Casey Thompson break down Northwestern's defense, and you're ecstatic. And you hear Scott Frost talk about how they operate, and you're pretty energized and juiced up about how this season's going to go. You listen to Mickey Joseph, you listen to Donovan Raiola, Mark Whipple, you listen to these guys.
You hear Garrett Nelson talk about rushing against the best left tackle in the nation.
You hear about Caleb Tanner's growth. I mean, just impressive growth over the last 3 years from a guy that was late at meetings, was put on the accountability list every single practice. And you show, I mean, it just goes to show that there is something brewing. And so you kind of get juiced up. And Rico kind of mentioned this a moment ago, and I'll get to it here in a second. But you remember last year, it was what kind of product is Nebraska going to show on the field? And now they face that same kind of question heading into this week 0 game. What kind of product, how prepared, how ready are you to go for this game? Because, and now I don't want to visit this topic for too long, but I think it's important to note both sides, Rico. If you lose this game or go out and play poorly, right, then it's kind of the same feeling as last year, because then it actually hurts you as a program on how easy the schedule is set up. And that, once again, it just speaks to the magnitude of this game, because you ask yourself, what do wins against North Dakota and Georgia Southern do for you as a program, from a program standpoint? And it once again, like, my overall thoughts after watching Illinois yesterday, digging up that same disappointed feeling that we felt back in week 0 last year, I really sat back and realized how crucial and important this game is on Saturday. And Rico, you mentioned how going into the game last year, one of the biggest things we heard is, you have this player who's going to do this and this player who's going to do that. And we're set up, we're deeper, and we feel better about every single position on the field than ever before. I've mentioned this throughout fall camp when we've been able to talk to coaches, that when you're in the press conferences, there's this quiet confidence surrounding the program. Mm-hmm. Part of it also could be the pressure that they're feeling of, listen, I can say whatever I want, but it's not going to be proven until Saturdays. Or also the idea that we just need to play a football game on Saturdays and show that we're finally moving this thing in the right direction, that we got the right people in place. And I think that's okay. You're just ready for this quiet confidence. Maybe it hasn't been so quiet in years past.
Yeah.
But now this year, you just kind of feel like they're operating under one guy, one roof, under the same message.
You speak of the quiet confidence. Casey Thompson was actually asked where the confidence for this team comes from the other day. And
Here he is.
What he had to say.
I think the confidence comes from our training. There's a saying that says, you don't rise to the level of the occasion, you fall back on your training. And like I said, today's Sunday, and we're 6 days out, and I have complete confidence in this game plan and the offense and the coaching staff, and just trying to keep everybody positive and relaxed. We had a really good practice today, almost no mistakes on the whole day, whether that was against the defense or the scouts. The game plan's really, really good and solid right now. We had a practice yesterday where we went over like 90 to 100 plays, and we didn't have many repeats or mistakes. So I think that the guys have a lot of confidence right now. But me as the quarterback, I just try to keep them positive and encourage them after practice today, just trying to talk to the receivers and let them know we had a great practice, and telling the line, we had a good practice, and encouraging the guys when we have to do half gashers and sprints after practice that this is going to help us for the game and ultimately for the season. So we're just trying to take one game at a time. But when we get over there, I think the main thing is on game day, my confidence and poise and my body language, and just showing the rest of the team and the offense that, hey, we've been here before, we practiced for this, and we're all prepared, and just relax, have fun, and play the game. So I would say my poise and my body language would probably help the most on game day for sure. I think the confidence.
That's okay. It's interesting once again that he says the body language. And I guess when we talk about this quiet confidence or this confidence, I guess, that's surrounding this program, when you're in the rooms, when you're at practice and things like that, talking to the people, the new people in place especially, it's once again, it's not we had our best practice. Have we heard that this fall camp? Like over and over. You've heard it a couple times.
You've heard a lot of we had our worst practice.
Exactly.
I feel like you've heard more.
You've heard a lot of accountability.
I feel like I've heard more we didn't have a good day today than I've heard
it wasn't good enough.
We had a really good day.
It wasn't good enough. And I suppose that you can take it, and maybe this is just me talking 4 days or 5 days away from the first game, but I guess you could take that one of two ways. First, you could take it as, oh no, they're sucking it up and they need to get better, or they expect excellence. How many times we've heard that from Mark Whipple, from Mickey Joseph? Mickey Joseph wasn't, as of last week, wasn't ready to name a top 6 because they weren't performing well enough.
They weren't consistent.
And like you'll go back to a Mickey Joseph discussion a couple weeks ago, and it was, why aren't you ready to name, who's the most consistent in the room? Me. That's what he said. I'm the most consistent.
Not Nick, Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey. And so, once again, just like Casey Thompson said, and this goes back to operating under one roof and one message, it's not necessarily confidence or that quiet confidence by what they're saying, but how they're operating, what their actions are, what their body language is like. And we can sit here. This is the best we can do, unfortunately, right now on August 22nd, because they haven't played a game. Next week, we'll have a much better idea of, once again, if the actions are going to translate onto Saturdays in the fall. What they're saying their actions are like, what it feels like in those press conferences, if that translates to the fall in games on Saturdays. We'll find out on August 27th here. Here's the thing. Rico, let's get to a volleyball discussion real quick. Because let's take a hard transition, and then we'll get to the spillover after.
What do you
do? Like 5?
Is there going to be a spillover? Strick's in Europe.
Well, we can bring Nate in.
We can bring Nate in.
What would you like to do? Would you like a full?
No, we can do it.
All right.
We can get this.
So first of all, you went to volleyball.
I did. I went to the fan day, and then I went to the red white scrimmage.
And first of all, before we dive into the actual the experience at the game, we need to talk about Ellie.
She was a superstar.
She was. She roared across Husker volleyball Twitter.
She took over she was the face of Nebraska volleyball.
She was on their Twitter page,
literally
or
the
social
face,
media,
literally the face of Nebraska volleyball
profile picture.
So that was the thing. It was very.
I
was not prepared for that.
Did you know they were taking the picture?
Yes. So first off, the fan day was amazing, and hopefully they do it again next year, and it was great. But we got closer to the front of the line, and she was wearing her little corn headband, and
Becca Alex headband,
and one of the photographers there was just like, "Oh my God, she's so cute. Can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I went to pose with her. She ran behind my back. She didn't want her picture taken. I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." So then, she was standing out there. She was looking at something else. And I look at the photographer and I kind of nod. And then I just go, "Hey, Ellie, what's that over there?" And she turns, boom, picture. That's why her face is so serious. She had no idea what she was looking at.
She had no clue.
She had no idea.
You finessed her. You teased her.
Rachel made fun of me because she's like, "Why did you put her headband on like that? She looks like Rambo." And I was like, "I don't know. I just thought that I put the headband on. I thought it looked pretty good."
Why didn't Rachel put the headband on?
Rachel was at home with KJ.
Okay.
But Rachel just texted me, said, "Proudest moment ever," as her mom.
That's good. That's awesome. No, it went crazy on Twitter.
It was wild, the amount of people who were, commenting how cute she was and how great her shirt and her headband were and all of this.
Yeah.
We went through the line and, talked to Nicklin and Kenzie and Lexi and the rest of them. But they were like, "Oh my God, she's so cute." Becca Alec wanted a fist bump or a high five, and Ellie wasn't having it. She was super shy.
Shoot.
But Becca was upset she wasn't wearing a headband, but it was fine. It was a great experience meeting all of them. Even though she didn't talk to him, I'm sure, that's something that hopefully she'll remember or at least talk about because she was excited to go back to volleyball later that day. But shout out to little free plugs real quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lincoln Running Company for the headband, and shout out to Paper Kite for the
there you go
t-shirts, which they will have adult sizes, I think, later this month of the little corn.
They better now.
So yeah, it was awesome. just getting those and, plugging the small businesses. So
Yeah.
that was always fun.
Okay, now the scrimmage. What did you see? Red team swept them 3-0.
So they were going to play 4 sets because there was one switch in where they switched Becca, Alec, and Maggie Mendelson in the middle. From Maggie was on the white team first, and she switched to the red team. They were going to play 4 sets to give each of them 2 sets to play, but they stayed at the fan day for an extra half hour just to make sure they got everybody who came through to get signatures. So they stayed there a little bit longer than they were expecting, so they only played the 3 sets. And take this with a grain of salt because as of right now, I'm still getting acclimated to, covering the volleyball team and learning more about volleyball as I go. But based on what I saw, this team is going to be fantastic.
Number 1 in the country.
Caitlin Horde in the middle is such a huge addition defensively. And, I mean, her offense is great. I mean, if you watch Nebraska volleyball these past few years and you saw Penn State when they came to Lincoln, or if you watched them on television, you know how good she is. But just seeing her in action wearing the Nebraska colors was amazing. And her defense is going to be spectacular. I think she had something like 6 or 7 blocks in the scrimmage. Becca Alec and Maggie Mendelson for being freshmen, as John Cook said earlier in the week, last week. They don't play like freshmen. They don't act like freshmen. You could see it. They were there. They were ready. They made a couple freshman mistakes here and there, celebrating on a supposed kill when, Lexi Rodriguez is on the other side. You never celebrate too early. Got back up, and the red team got the kill when Becca was on the white team. Maggie Mendelson, and again, they are supreme athletes, and this is just me watching from however far up I was. It seemed as if her hands were a little late getting up on the block. I'm sure she'll fix that. I'm sure they'll fix that, and she'll be great. Her length and the experience she got playing with all of the national teams this summer is going to come into effect at some point during the season, and you're going to see something amazing. They are going to be switching back and forth, John Cook said, after the scrimmage during the first few games. So they'll, have Becca up there, have Maggie up there, have Caitlin Horde up there. But the loss of Kayla Caffey, I think they can take care of that, weather that with the 2 freshmen and Caitlin Horde, because look, defensively, those 3 are going to be a problem for anybody else that's going up against them. Kennedy Orr, for all of the talk of, the injury and maybe not being ready, she looked the part the other day of a former number 1 overall recruit, the number 1 setter in the nation. Her sets were on point, and something that they've been working on. If she gets the first touch, her and Lexi Rodriguez have been working on a thing where Lexi will bump set it to her, and she'll get the kill. They did it about 2-3 times. Looked fantastic. And that's something you can do with a taller setter such as Kennedy. I mean, she's around 6 foot. I think she's all of 6 foot. So that's something that she can do that I'm not saying Nicklin couldn't do it, but that's something that Kennedy Orr can really take advantage of if she gets the first touch.
And once again, we can translate this conversation of Nebraska playing Nebraska in a scrimmage to similar of, I mean, if we want to make the comparison of football, go 2019 LSU. Comparison of football, going up against the best team in the country, right? I mean, the scrimmage, there's value in these, right? It's not like, it's not just, there's definitely value. We got this on the text line. Hayden Kubik looked really good.
She looked amazing.
She finished with 8 kills and 7 digs.
She looked amazing. Maddie Kubik looked all the part of the only unanimous all Big Ten selection that she is.
Maddie Kubik.
A little bit of a little bump. She ran into, it might have been Kennedy, or I don't remember who she ran into, but she ran into him. I think it was just like a stinger on her nose. It looked like she grabbed her neck, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to speculate on anything. She's fine. She got up. She finished the scrimmage. She was good. She looked fantastic. Kind of sad we didn't get to see Allie Batenhorst play. She was in street clothes. But Lindsey Krause on the pin looked fantastic. Lexi Rodriguez, still great. Nicklin Hames taking over as one of the defensive specialists and not the setter. You saw her defense last year when she played in that back row as the setter. So she's still great. Kenzie Knuckles was on the white team the entire time and looked really darn good. Jalen Reyes, shout out to Jalen Reyes, still got the athleticism. Wanted to see him swing it, maybe, his full power, but he got stuffed a couple of times by Caitlin Horde, Becca Alec. I think Maggie Mendelson got him as well. They were stuffing him at the net a couple times there. So the defense is going to be a strength for this Nebraska volleyball team. The red team struggled not struggled, but they had one ace and about 7 or 8 errors, not service errors. It could have been service errors. They had about 8 errors, which is something they're going to have to clean up. I have full faith in John Cook that they'll get that cleaned up. But Maisie Bosinger looked great serving for the white team. So you'll probably see her coming in for serves this coming season.
Okay, so once again, Maddie Kubik led the red squad. Just to run through some of the stat lines, Maddie Kubik led the red squad with 13 kills. Lindsey Krause, as Rico said, added 12 of her own. Whitney Lonstein chipped in 9 kills and 4 blocks. Kennedy Orr had 35 assists and nine digs, 4 blocks, and 3 kills. Let me read that stat line again. Kennedy Orr, throughout all the speculation of whether or not she was going to be ready to take over for Nicklin Hames, set the red attack with 35 assists, had 9 digs, 4 blocks, and 3 kills on the night.
One of those blocks was on Jalen Reyes.
Yeah, and Caitlin Horde had 9 blocks. So you talk about middle blocker, like Rico kind of said, you have to replace Kayla Caffey, you have to replace Callie Schwarzenbach, who went off to Long Beach State with Tyler Hildebrand. Then Caitlin Horde, an All-American from Penn State, is a good filler or replacement for that.
Not taking anything away from Kayla Caffey, but Caitlin Horde's height and her length is going to help her more on the defensive end than Kayla Caffey. Kayla Caffey was a good defender, but Caitlin Horde is just that next level on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go ahead and take our final time out here. Good report on volleyball. They open up the season, in the Emeritus Players Challenge on Friday at 11 a.m. We'll be there to kind of give you guys updates the entire day. Rico will be in Grand Island, so I'll have to
there's a little bit there's like a scheduling volleyball news. Their volleyball match against Loyola Marymount has been moved from 6 p.m. on September to 6 p.m. on September 1st and will be televised on Nebraska Public Media.
There you go. So they play Texas A&M Corpus Christi though at 11 a.m. on Friday. So to open up their season. So exciting weekend in Husker sports. Number one team in the country, Nebraska volleyball, plays Texas A&M Corpus Christi on Friday. And then obviously Husker football kicks off their season on Saturday. Let's get to our final timeout. We bring in Nate for the spillover coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
What does continuing education mean to you? At Southeast Community College, it means helping you advance. Whether that's a certification to help your current career or learning an entirely new career in healthcare, trades and industry, or computers and technology, SCC can help you take the next step. Financial assistance is available too. Learn more about our continuing ed classes at southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to personal and professional development.
Casey's General Stores is giving away 2 tickets to each Nebraska football home game this season. To enter, just head to any Casey's General Store location in Lincoln during the football season, scan the QR code at the front counter, and fill out the online form. One winner will be chosen at random 2 days before that week's game. So head over to Casey's, stock up on all your tailgating snacks and drinks, and register to win 2 tickets to a Nebraska football game, brought to you by Casey's General Store and 93.7 The Ticket.
The fall sports season is here, and Brown Shoe Fit is celebrating that with a sale on athletic shoes. From now through the end of August, get $10 off any regular priced athletic shoe up to $105, and get $15 off shoes regularly priced at over $105. These are shoe brands including New Balance, Brooks, Hoka, and On. Gear up for the busy fall season today with the athletic shoe sale at Brown Shoe Fit, located at 66th and Q.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dan has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsrats.com. Bats Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at PriceRightAuto.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now back to the happy hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I need to apologize on behalf of Nathan Brennan real quick. Because this
Don't ruin his surprise. Don't ruin his surprise.
I just know that I'm sorry for what you guys might hear today. But in addition to that,
You don't even have to apologize because you know people are going to love it.
it's so stupid. Anyway, want to let you guys know that you are listening to 93.7 FM KNTK The Ticket.
You could not have
And this
said
is the
that
happy hour.
any weirder.
Thank you, Rico.
You'll say
You don't have to point it out.
93.7 The Ticket K and TK FM Firth.
There we go. We said it twice. Just wanted to make sure that the legal ID is sent in there. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. You can always hit us up on Twitter, Nick_Sainert at Radio Rico AC. Or if you have not subscribed to our YouTube, go ahead and do that.
Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to the YouTube. Hit the little bell thing. Get a little notification every time we go live. Come on. What are you doing? Follow us on Twitter at 93.7 The Ticket. Again, hit the little bell. Get notifications whenever we tweet.
Thank you, Rico.
You're welcome.
So Nate's going to join us here in a moment for the crossover.
Follow us on Instagram.
For the crossover. And I guess now's the time I'll say my bets that I took on Saturday.
Well, can I say this really quick?
Absolutely.
Can I mention our old friend? Two of our old friends.
Okay, actually, yeah, that's a better discussion. First, let's start off with the Nebraska news.
Okay.
Trev Alberts tweeted out, quote, "Happy to report that the first 3 games in Memorial Stadium have sold out.
Woo!
There is no place like Nebraska."
Get ready for a
Here we
sold-out
go.
stadium, North Dakota, Georgia Southern, and Oklahoma.
Here's this as well. Kansas State football released their captains.
6 of them.
And there's 6 of them, which seems like a lot.
A little bit.
And here's the thing. And as Nate Brennan will join us here in
He's
about
gonna
10
love
seconds. One of the Kansas State captains, Cade Warner.
Woo!
One of the other Kansas State captains, Adrian Martinez.
Woo!
So Adrian Martinez comes to Manhattan
And takes over.
Takes over and is a captain. That
Take
man's a
that,
captain
Wildcats.
everywhere he goes.
Eli Huggins, Daniel Green, Deuce Vaughn, and Cooper Beebe are the other 4 captains.
Yeah, so they have 6 captains, which seems like a lot. But once again, former Huskers, Cade Warner and Adrian Martinez are 2 of the 6 captains for Kansas State football. Thought, we don't
They
need
have
to
3 defenders and 3 offensive players.
So maybe that's the thought on this, but we'll bring in Nate here in a moment. He's got to get his stream set up, and he's
9 a.m.
bringing it.
All right, 9 a.m. taking over at Kansas State.
I got the stream set up. What's
Is
going
he
on,
number
everyone?
9?
He is 9 a.m.
Oh, I hate that.
Who's wearing number 9?
Adrian
Martinez.
That's great marketing.
What are your thoughts?
2 a.m. was better.
Oh, Strick!
I was not prepared for that. I have to take one of us off.
Which one is unmuted?
No.
Okay, well then take me off. I guess.
Well,
No, it's okay.
Hold on. Strick, we can't hear you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, Rick, we got to do some production stuff here. This is the crossover. Nathan joins us. Strick. Okay, perfect. Strick's going to join us here in a moment from wherever he's at in Europe. But once again, the first three games at Nebraska at Memorial Stadium have been sold out. So that's North Dakota, Georgia Southern, and Oklahoma. Which Oklahoma, that's actually pretty impressive that it already sold out already, because those tickets were pricey, super pricey. Ryan says this on the text line: Amart is a captain everywhere he goes, Nick, except for the all clutch team, which is very valid. That's a good point, Ryan. Somebody says, I really wish he would have made it here at Nebraska because he has a good captain's attitude. That shows the two sides of Nebraska's fan base, if I've ever seen it.
I don't know if it does, though, because I, as someone who has been very critical of Adrian Martinez in the past, and in my opinion, rightfully so. I think that Adrian Martinez is a great leader. He's a great captain. I've never once doubted that. He's great in front of the podium.
Yeah.
He sometimes, not every time, but there were a lot of times he would go to the podium and he'd say, it's my fault. Like, I blew the game. I made a bad play.
That's part of being
And
a quarterback at a place like
being
Nebraska
quarterback,
also.
And that's leadership mentality. And from what it sounded like, all the players liked being around him. Kid, but Strick, oh my goodness.
Strick, you good, man?
You doing all right?
Yeah,
Hey,
man. I just needed a quick pause. Y'all can hear me though, right?
Yes, we can.
But passed out for a second. I was like, what happened?
We're doing. I think that the problem was never Adrian's leadership skills. It was just that, like the texter said, when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to playing in the clutch,
100%.
he never showed up.
100%.
And it doesn't surprise me he's a captain.
Which,
to be honest with you.
let's be real here. Let's transition this back to Nebraska. And I'm not trying to compare Casey Thompson and Adrian Martinez, but one thing that Casey Thompson said yesterday when he talked about the confidence, right? Fall back on the training. When you hit adverse situations, you fall back on your training. And who is the most prepared player on this football team?
Should be.
It's the quarterback.
It should be.
And through his answer about what to expect from Northwestern,
His
you
breakdown?
feel
We'll have that sound coming up on the block.
we've played it a couple times throughout the day today already. And here's the thing, like I said this on early break, and I want to get your guys' thoughts as we welcome Strick. Strick, where are you at, by the way?
Bagram, Turkey.
Okay,
Bagram,
so he's a turkey.
How has how's the food experience been throughout? Look at you.
Drinking on F's, baby. Hey, Thursday early. It's still I'm like 8 hours ahead of you guys. So being that I'm 8 hours ahead of you, it's late. It's wind down Wednesday, wind down Monday or manic Monday out here. So
there you go.
Tuesday is quickly approaching. But no, it's absolutely beautiful. I posted some pictures on Instagram. I mean, we'll talk more on the block, but yeah, Bagram, Turkey, it's a hidden gem. I mean, I beyond my expectations as to how beautiful it is out here.
I got two questions. So what has been the coolest thing you've seen, and what has been the weirdest thing you've eaten so far?
Nothing weird. Nothing weird. No, nothing weird. I think they actually have sushi, but you can eat like monkey brains.
Oh,
so
wow. Are you gonna do that?
It's a hard no for Stricky. It's a hard no. But I do dibble and dabble in sushi. So earlier today we went up to Ephesus. Obviously it's a biblical, ruined site, amphitheater. It's very Romanesque in how it was built, and man, it was absolutely stunning. Just the views and the stuff that I was able to see today. I mean, it was really awe-inspiring. A lot of what I was able to see, just in the drives, in the landscape, and all that. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so I want to ask this question. This is kind of how we'll spend the crossover here before we get you guys on the block. The word I used this morning on early break was refreshing. To have everything we've heard about Casey Thompson is that he's a film junkie, and he spends all of his free time in the film room studying, learning about opponents. And the word I used was refreshing, to finally have a guy that off the field at least has panned out the way that we were told it was going to pan out. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, as of right now, that's all we can do is talk about off the field. But it was extremely refreshing for kind of the evolution of Casey Thompson so far as the starting quarterback. We hear he's a film junkie. We hear he's experienced, and we hear he knows football. His football IQ is through the roof. Then we ask him, what should we know about Northwestern? And he gives a 1:15 response, breaking down Northwestern, the guys that transferred, track times, everything that you needed to know. It's truly impressive. And once again, I go back to the word refreshing, because it's like, all right, we finally have a guy, and not saying that Adrian Martinez was this way, but we finally have a transfer, an addition to this team that has panned out, and it's coming to fruition the way we expected it to, or we were told it was going to. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully off the field at least. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's, like you said, I think it's extremely refreshing to have somebody come in here, and although he wasn't named a captain, through his words yesterday, it seems as if he is one of the leaders on this team, on the field and off, because he's just talking about, as you said earlier, the body language and everything that he shows, and how he leads through, not what he says, but what he does. And we heard that from some of the offensive coaches, from Scott Frost, from Mark Whipple, where if something happens, you look at how they respond to it. So I can just imagine if Casey Thompson were to throw an interception, if something wasn't to go his way, if somebody were to run the wrong route, he's not going to let it show in his body language, but he'll pull that person aside, or he'll, talk to the coaches off the field about, a mistake that he made, or pull a person aside and talk about something that they did, or a way that they can get on the same page. So it's refreshing to hear somebody take that leadership role. And again, it's not like Adrian didn't do that, but it's refreshing to hear that, from a guy who transferred in with all of the hype that he did.
Listen, you don't need a C on your jersey to be a leader.
I agree.
I agree.
And I don't think I think that's a big reason. Sorry to interrupt. I think that's a big reason why people aren't worried about Casey Thompson not being a captain.
Right.
Is because we're not questioning his ability to lead.
No, I don't think his leadership's in question at all. That's why, I understand the reasoning behind Scott Frost not giving him giving him the C on his jersey and making him a captain. I get that. I understand it. But I think this just goes to show you the kind of player that Casey is, the type of character that he has inside of that locker room. That answer tells you right there. The thing is, I don't know how much we want to say we're drinking the Kool-Aid. Rico, I don't know if you spilled the beans on what you said in our Twitter group chat.
But I did.
It's got to make you excited, man.
Yet.
You guys are going to like our On the Block opening, because I'm all in. After I heard that, because I've already been all in on Casey Thompson all offseason. I think he was a great addition. I think there are only a handful of quarterbacks you would have rather had over him. And they're going to I don't know, Caleb Williams is over at USC. Quinn Ewers is over at Texas. We'll even see how that works out. But other than a handful of those guys, Bo Nix, I know that's Rico's guy.
You're such a big Bo Nix.
Grant Wells is
that a Rico's guy?
Point.
It is.
That is definitely a Rico's
Okay, so I got to add him to the sheet.
Grant Wells is at Virginia Tech. Good point, gentlemen. Okay, stop. But there's just a handful of guys, and that's why I was so excited about Casey Thompson. This only solidifies it. I'm ready to go. I think Casey Thompson is a dog. I think this is going to be one hell of a season, and I think he's going to take us to the place that we need to go.
I'm all.
Well, for me personally as well, I think it's good that you're still getting people outside of the norms of what it would normally be, which you would normally have your quarterback to be in that position, but yet still taking the leadership role, not taking offense to it, not being, getting your panties in a bunch about the fact that you don't have a C on your name. All of those things bode well. It just continues to instill confidence in me in that he's astute and focused on the goal and the mission that is set before him. It doesn't really matter. And I love that about, what I'm hearing out of the camp of this team is that they're actually really focused on the things that matter and not those little petty things like that.
Exactly. All right. We got a minute left here in the crossover. Nate, it's time that we tell the people what we decided to put our money on Saturday evening. on the sports book?
I put my money where my mouth is. So I said to you guys I was going to change the line on Nebraska. I changed it as far as it would possibly let me because at some point they know that they're probably just dumb for figs to do it. Nebraska minus 20.5.
So he did Nebraska.
Put my money where my mouth is.
Did you do any others?
I just did that.
Okay, so
$20 on Nebraska 19 or 20.5. Excuse me.
Okay, so then I made a couple. I put Nebraska to cover the 13.5.
Love it.
And then I put Nebraska to win the Big Ten West.
Love it.
Whoa.
Rico's in
Nebraska to win the Big Ten West.
I said almost in our Twitter group.
All
chat.
right,
I said
fair
almost.
enough.
Nebraska to win the Big Ten West. So
Love it.
we're all for it. All right, we're done for today. On the block with Strick and Nate and Strick. Strick's in Turkey. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.
From selling a home